In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another Overthrow Disc Golf form review. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for sending in your form, patrons. For those of you who are like, what is this? I don't know why it's popping up, but now I'm here. This is a stream where we take our patrons from Patreon, and those people that are signed up for the form review tier intermediate get to send in one of these a month. And I look at it and I say, yo, this is what's wrong. You should fix this. That's what this is. Link to our Patreon in the description below. As always, if you are here, let me know. Birdman is here. It's getting started with the Birdman. Looking good, Larry. Looking good.
You want to put your thing on Do Not Disturb?
It is on Do Not Disturb.
That's perfect.
Think I'm a noob? I just remembered right before this.
Woo!
Not bad. Good lead arm action. Decent timing with the plant. I'd get this back shoulder to stop falling around so much. Try to get this this trail side to hang back here. We got a Texas State starts today, huh?
Oh, wait. Different course than the one we went to, though.
Yeah. It was a different course last year as well, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. All I hear from Texas people is they need to do it at Roy G. And they never do. Okay. I'm not sure that my app's going to like doing Skeletor because it hates being plugged in and running a bunch of things at once. Okay, we got one of yous. We got the others of yous.
Okay.
So just notice the red dots on the left side of your body and watch how frame by frame they kind of click forward, right? Now, Simon's left side is very, very still. See that? So he's got kind of that back shoulder, what to me feels kind of like an anchor. Oh, a kettlebell. Should I pick it up? So moving forward, this left hand, when it tucks, kind of pins, kind of stays here. Right, so here, and this needs to hang back. Sometimes it feels like you're pushing it actually the opposite direction. So if we take both hands back, both hands come in together, and then from here, this one kind of runs into your body almost and stays. And you need to make a concerted effort to keep it there. So, actually, sometimes I do use this kettlebell. Hold on. I gotta mark this with something else if I'm gonna take the kettlebell. I have a feeling there's a purpose. There's a purpose afoot. Is the kettlebell actually off? Okay, well, either way. But yeah, here. So both hands come in, and then this chills. This left side chills here. So we want to have this nice long left swing. Sorry. Flip that. Long swing with the right while the left hangs back. So the right gets its time to shine. It's got its own swing, and then the left can come through afterwards. So swing, and then this can swing around in the follow through, but you got to work on hands in together, swing. One way that I do that as well as, or a different way that I do that as well as, if you like a swing feel a little bit more. It's kind of both back together, boom. So they're tight in this moment, and there you go. It's kind of the Fehlberg S drill. Makes sense, brother. Nice work on the other parts of your form. Just got my tech disc 2 days ago. I'm only throwing 50 miles an hour. Well, hey. I was going to say it only goes up from there, but I've seen it go the opposite direction too. So, good luck. All right, Birdman. Yes, sir. T.M. McCurry. Ooh, a forehand. See this? I think he had like a one finger claw in there for a second. I was like, hold up. Nate Sexton 0.5. V 0.5. Let's see. I mean, overall, the form's actually not that bad. Decent setup here. Let's see what's happening that's making this thing come out super wobbly. I'm a man acquainted with that. Yeah, you post up kind of nicely on that front. But so to me, it looks like your elbow is going around instead of through here. See right here, the elbow starts coming like towards us. Whew. And it doesn't cut through till about there. Which is tough to get like a nice spin slash snap on. So, to explain, you're here and then you're kind of swinging around with your elbow. It's all coming out around here. Right, instead what happens is we want this to go forward. So we kind of hang back. It's kind of similar to, hopefully it doesn't hurt your eardrums, but it's kind of similar to if I'm here, hopefully you can see me. When I start moving my body forward, right, my elbow doesn't want to go out around and start moving it that way, right? It's here. My hand lays back and my elbow kind of drags forward, right, instead of over here. So first thing is let the elbow come in tight. Let the elbow come in here. That's also going to help lay your wrist back and have here. So at the end, you can give a nice pop. Keep your grip nice and loose as well. That's been particularly helpful for me on forehands, eliminating wobble. So super loose grip, as loose as you can get it. Keep that hand as loose as possible. And as you move your body forward, leave that elbow to drag. Don't push it around. So as you open up, let the hand lay back further. Let the elbow move forward. So you can keep that elbow, get that elbow a little tighter instead of sending it around here. Yeah, when I switched recently, because we had in like one of our forehand, on one of our tech disc video, like forehand versus backhand, my wobble was so bad, and like I just held it kind of firm, so I went as loose as I possibly could, and my wobble went down to like normal levels. I still have to check in with that because it will definitely, my tendency is to clamp harder, and I think most people's tendency on forehands is to be more tight, and you don't want to be tight in places with forehand, right? Backhand, there are some spots where you're like, okay, keep this tight to maintain space and X, Y, Z. But forehand, it's like almost every area that you can think of except maybe the front foot plant. It's like being as loose as possible so you can like get really stretchy with the body and then snap through at the end. So yeah, try being just as loose as possible and let that elbow go straight forward instead of around. Loose grip on forehands will change your life. Change your disc golf life anyways. It's not going to give you a pay raise. Maybe it will. If you're a disc golfer, it would give you a pay raise. Or you could just ignore the forehand altogether and just keep throwing turnover backhands. Matt Heiser. There he is. Oh, wait a second. Is this more people?
Uno más. Cyanide.
Okay.
Higher.
What is this? Oh, these are lessons. I need to be in here. Okay. I was like, this looks way more than 17. It's like, what in the world? I gotta go through and delete all the old stuff. Okay, Matt Heiser, here we are. Wow, this place looks nice. Wow, that looks good.
Wow, that looks good.
Wow, that looks good. Okay, I gotta actually watch this time. Okay, so check out your front leg here. See how it's opening up? You got a big opening move with your hips here. Big hip opening move guy. So you're kind of like twisting open here. Watch as your foot starts going down. You start twisting your shoulders. I'll go frame by frame. Boop, 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 boop. Now your foot's down. Maybe perhaps we could say here you're actually planted, right? But you've already twisted forward a good bit. So we want to get nice and locked before we start throwing. So the timing is, you're here, you're coiling, and you're waiting for the foot to hit, and then boom, foot hits. Still coiled. So we want to be turned when we plant. So no unturning at any part of this final stage, not even a smidge. So we're extending this way and extending this way with our foot. So extending back with the arms, extending forward with the foot, and we're waiting to go cha-chunk and get locked in, get fully planted, and then we've got this whole swing left. Now that we're planted, we've got something to throw against, and now we've got this whole time to swing, right? Versus if we're here and we go whoop boom, well, your swing has just started because you finally locked in here, and so you're swinging from basically here. which is not very much room. So we want more room to accelerate if possible. So the drill for this is very simple. Coil, plant, right? I'm planted here, not just my toe, but my whole foot went down, like if I was gonna stomp on something. So stomp that front foot and then throw. So here it is. Coil to chunk. Arm still back, shoulder still back, good to go. Throw. Coil, plant, throw. All right, less of a pause because I am now efficient at doing that. And then just work that until there is no pause. No pause does not mean that we're pulling or starting our swing before we plant. It just means that the timing's not clunky. It goes plant, swing, instead of swing and plant. Just fun. Probably one of our videos next month is going to have something similar to this. One of the first two, I think. Hiya. Flippy Phil, where you at? Hiya. This guy's new.
This is a Flippy.
Yeah. Flippy. You don't think he's from Flippy Disc Golf, do you? He'd be wearing one of their polos, probably.
What polos?
It'd be way more colorful. Personally, I like the black better. That'd be funny if they were all like people that just wore black. They have this like colorful polo company. He can move a disc. Yeah, obviously a lot of really good stuff going on here. Right, it's time to kind of tweak a little bit, right? So I think that this back foot is a little too far back, and the reason I'm saying that is because you've got your stagger like very staggered, and your disc with your coil, well, I think you're getting a full coil here. And by the way, those shorts like perfectly show your tattoo. Pro Strats. But kind of overstrided towards us, and the disc is like now back behind you a little bit for where you're throwing, and it kind of makes it hard for you not to cut off your line with your left shoulder here. Right, so I think you could clean it up just a little bit. I mean, it's already pretty clean, honestly. But preferentially, I'd go here, have less of a exaggerated stagger so that you're not fighting against time to get your hand past your, left pec. So just by adjusting how much you're staggering here in this back foot, right? I'll use this line. Right, if the foot's back here and I get maximum coil, I'm going to stagger this way. Right, and the disc is going to be behind me in reference to my line. Right, so if you can take that step and instead make it a little more close to perpendicular. I'm not saying perpendicular, I'm just saying more that direction. Right, so this is still a little back, but then you have the same coil and the disc is now over here. So when you're trying to hit your line and you do your move, now you're going to be able to get the disc further forward before you have to send it out in a way. Right. Yeah, the rounding I think is like you could tweak. You could tweak basically the direction of your walk up and do almost exactly the same thing. So it's not even, I guess, the direction of your walk up as much as this foot not going so far back here. So just stay with your right hip a little bit more forward here and do the same thing. You might want to check just and see, okay, if you do that and you're still kind of running out of time and you keep hitting this, like you feel like you're getting too tight here to the left and can't get through it all, then you might want to experiment with moving your backswing a little bit wider. What is up, Bunky? Marked words.
Oh, is this the one?
No.
Oh, dang. You already saw the one.
No, I have not seen the one. I just know who sent it. I'm assuming anything that we would call the one is sent by Maxwell.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
The one. So the form's not perfect, but it's a little too controlled for me to be like, yeah, let me see. Oh, so my focus from last time was trying to get the disc ahead of my back shoulder. Success. Success on that. Congratulations. So now what I'd like to see is for you to be able to do that with a bit longer of a stroke, a bit longer of a swing. So getting after it a little bit more. Because right now it's pretty controlled. It's pretty like, okay. Like, this is kind of like grooving it mode to me. There's a time in form where we're just, okay, let me make sure. Let me make sure that this is not getting trapped on my back shoulder. Got it, right? So now you just need to work this up, the progression. So it's very controlled, very calm, very tame. Now we need to add a little violence to it. So now I want to see like, okay, what happens if you start trying to give this thing a a full extension back here instead of just being here, right? And one thing that I'll mention, just because it can be confusing, if you look at someone like Calvin, for example, or Emerson Keith with their arms here, they actually get a bit more of a shoulder turn, and their disc is going to come behind them a little bit, right? So they're getting a little bit more of an extension back here, even though it doesn't look like this, right? You're just here, which is actually not a very long swing, right? From here, going and coming through would be kind of a massive swing, right? So I'd like to see you lengthen it, be more aggressive with it, and then see if it breaks still. Someone's got the key to our office?
Might be someone with the key to the city.
It's Dakota. So, yeah, extend more. Yeah, I'd get here, and go ahead and give it a full extension. I don't think it doesn't look like it makes much sense to my eye for you to, try to get it more this way. For me, it seems like, hey, let's get this extra backswing here, right? Go ahead and let the arm extend a little bit and then see if it breaks. But now that you've kind of got the basic timing of it, you've got to do the step that so many people on our channel don't want to do, which is, okay, we've got it controlled. Now let's ratchet this sucker up a couple notches and see what happens at a faster pace with timing that's harder to manage, and by forcing your body kind of into overdrive, it becomes more efficient at lower levels. So yeah, so you did the nice like form work. Now it's time to do the I'm an athlete and I'm gonna go, for lack of a better term, throw my arm off, right? Do more. Try to get a little more distance while maintaining the same kind of mechanics. Yes, yeah, of course. And you've got to, that's like part of the thing that's hard for people sometimes, is to trust that when you go at higher tempos, that your body's going to retain some of this baseline timing. So, and that you can kind of feel your way through that at higher tempos. So that's where you really get form cemented. So push it a little bit. Time to rip some and see what happens. Have fun. With power grip, how do the pinky and ring finger come into play? Well, it depends on how hard you're throwing, but the pinky and ring finger come into play to keep the disc in your hand as it starts to pivot. So if I'm throwing 40 miles an hour, I can do a 2-finger power grip and be fine, right? Because it's going to survive the pivot. If I'm throwing at 65 miles an hour, that ain't cutting it for me. I need more help to keep it from slipping out early. Okay. Yo, people, jump in the queue.
Ain't nobody.
Nobody. Ooh.
Alright, I'm ready.
Nobody. Ooh. Oh, that's right. I don't have to wait for a cue. What am I doing?
I'm ready to get out.
All right. Let's go with Cyanide.
Uh-huh. Wow, he's moving so fast in slow-mo. incredible.
Whoa.
Bro, get this man a sword.
A sword?
Yeah, coming at you like that. That little first bit.
Shoing.
Woo! Uh-oh.
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 He's... Uh-oh, something what? On your end?
No. Uh-oh, something on Cyanide. He got shoot you.
Yeah, it's always this like floppy disk thing for me.
Floppy disk syndrome.
But not to beat that dead horse. Dude is definitely a Viking. That is true. Okay, I am gonna mention the whole like floppy disk thing here because it looks like this, and we talk about this kind of every time. But it's like here, right? Too floppy. I don't know what you gotta do, brother. Firm that up. Pull this disc in your palm more. Try your thumb in the middle of the flight plate so it doesn't have the ability to pop up as much. Obviously, you've got a little bit of a swoop. I don't care about that too much, depending on how it's done. Because we've got people like Eliezer throwing bombs. So, but if you want to kind of avoid the swoop, there are two ways. And I would recommend using a bit more elbow drive just because you're a little bit collapsed here. So back here, if you use more elbow drive, you'll get rid of some of that swoop. Right. The other thing is you can have your disc a bit more down. That'll make it so that when your arm bends in, it's not popping up at you as you go to swing your shoulders through, because it's always going to come into this joint. Right. If you're real swingy with the shoulders, it's going to pop up. Right. So the solution there is to change kind of the orientation of your arm so that when it moves forward, it pops in to the body like that. And then out. But since you're already a little collapsed here, I would recommend adding a little bit of elbow to move the disc forward.
Softly.
Yeah, I think the arm just gets used a little late. Shoulders going. Starts kind of closing this here. So you need to maintain a little bit more space here earlier by kind of moving your elbow forward a bit. Rooter Tom is here. Brother. Hey, brother.
Rubber Tom.
Woo! After putting the camera aside for a while. After putting the camera, disc golf problems, you know. My form now looks like this. Yes, I remember now. How did it go, though? How was your time without a camera? What were the results? Because I remember this left arm doing the same kind of things. Hoi! Talking. Yeah, hey, gain muscles are important, but I know you mentioned something about the back foot. I am going to mention something about it. Just, and it's not necessarily the back foot, it's just like how far your X step is here. You should probably consider a bit of a hop. Or some way to keep this a little bit tighter. Like, although distance is not, like there's not a set distance, you don't have to be tiny with your cross step here. You are a bit further back like this. So I would prefer for you to get through this X step more vertical with the body. Not saying vertical like this, vertical. Centered is the word that I'm looking for, right? Instead of leaning back this way, right, which can be done with a bend like that, trying to get through this centered, where your head's always kind of in between the legs, instead of lean with it, rock with it. So come through here, and if you've got this, if this kind of tempo is comfortable for you, maybe consider just experiment with a little hop here to where you go. Or you kind of go up on this, boom, on that right step to keep you upright like that. So I would try that, and the other thing that I would work on is try to get this left arm way more calm. So I'm not opposed to you going all like Kristen Tatar on it, where the left arm is close, because right now it's so far away. So trying to keep everything more tight, more compact. It's a feeling, it's a very, kind of feels like this. It's like here, like everything's just central. So you should be able to stay nice and tight with the body. So here, and so I can still get shoulder coil and keep my left hand close to the body, instead of back here where you see it way in front of my body. So stay upright through the X and keep this left hand a bit tighter. Also, congrats on 50 points above your rating at a tournament. Maybe one day for me. Please, can I be next? Probably never happened. What do you think about looking at the disc? Maybe just corner of your eye as a trick to prevent the head from inhibiting a full coil / reachback. I think it's fine to let your head go back with your disc. Just whatever's natural. Fred. Fred, was it you that gave me that wild honey? The dyed one with the orange and the black and the red. Because if so, have I got a story for you, brother? Ah, Florida. Dude, imagine having one of these tents for a disc golf event. That'd be incredible. Oh, yeah, you gave me the hats. I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe his name was like Jason. He was a stockier guy. Now I'm remembering. Now that you said it's not you, I'm remembering who it actually was. I just assumed it was you, and so my mind like didn't search for the real information. Yeah, you really need just to work from basically here when you get your weight on your left to here. You need this final step. So a couple things that are getting kind of jacked up is one, you've got good posture here. Right, nice athletic semi-squat posture. Semi-squat, would that be a kumquat? And then you stand up at the waist right here as you move forward. The other thing is you're not maintaining enough, that's not going to work, is it? Should I even try? You're just too pinched. Yeah, you're too pinched here. That little angle that I'm showing there. Right, part of that comes from the standing up. Yeah. So you've got to find some kind of like mental cue or some sort of feel that lets you feel this space here. So for me, I can feel actually like tension right here. If I just stop and I'm like, okay, what does that space feel like? I can feel that that my arm's using some muscle to keep this space here. And if I go like this, that sucker's gone. So I can actually almost tighten this, right, and maintain that space. So we're just working from your left here to forward. So you can just go here, turn, right, and learn that what is this part of the arm, because it's your upper arm that's kind of giving you the problem here. It's this part of the arm here. And if you try to move forward, you've got to make sure that this sucker is a unit, that this part of your arm, if your shoulders go, this is going. So that it's a very like one-to-one relationship here. So sometimes I have people do like this and go here and then extend so they can feel, okay, what is this backswing position? But yeah, it's this space, focusing on this space here. If you have to put your hand here, put your hand here. Right, so I've created this like claw. I just want to make sure that I don't start pinching my hand. So another way that you can do this is kind of straight arm, more than 90. Go back and try to keep your arm relatively straight. And when you start moving forward, it's going to break at the elbow. But this part doesn't necessarily need to go back too much. So you can go here. And I maintain that space the whole time. So, yeah, it's important not to try to get rid of this in the muscle memory, but to learn this. And when you learn this, you will get rid of this. So, yep, and then the other thing is standing up. So, take this space, take this feeling that you have here, and just find some way to feel that you're not standing up. I have an average of 8 wobble on tech disc. Yep. That's no fun. Okay. Next, Mikey, we're going to do J today. It's a forehand. Yes. Yes. Okay. I like this because last time, because we've been doing backhands for him. So he's taking a break from backhand review per the latest instruction and running with it. Running with the backhand. Learn the forehand. Okay. By the way, if you've ever wanted to be a beginner right-handed player throwing backhand on this hole, good luck. I wonder how many cars have been hit. It's like he's throwing a forehand, so you hope it's like way right, but also you gotta have a lot of confidence in beginners. All right. Okay. So, the setup is quite good. But you really want to throw against this front leg. So you're getting set up decently. I do think that you could drag your hand a bit forward, a bit more forward, but nevertheless, I think probably this front foot's more of the issue. So here, you need to be able to push against this leg so that you're not just, so this hip's not just all leaking forward. The hips actually end up rotating more or less in place, right? So this left hip kicks back and this right hip goes forward. It's not that the left is staying and the right's just like bleeding forward. It's not just a walking step, right? So we're not here like that. It is a plant and then throw from here. So this needs to be firm enough that you're pushing against it and you're not moving. So this, again, this hip goes back as this one goes forward. That's going to keep you, you also want to stay like here. With it, keep your body over it instead of coming back. Now as your foot is sliding, if you start to like knee something here, you're going to want to fall back to maintain balance. So once we get that set up, I would assume that it'd be easier to do this, but staying over the shot this way. Instead of swinging this hip through and falling back, it's there. So make sure this is firm. And that you don't just walk past. So nice big stomp on the front foot. All right, Maxwell. Make sure the screen's full size. Hold on. Yes. Is there audio with it? I'll never know.
I didn't check it, I'll be able to hear.
Last time I was OZ. Respect. I love it. It's nice when you have like 20. You got like 20 form reviews to have something like that to mix it up. Oh yeah. Nice. Yeah, not standing up for sure, right? Maybe you started a little bit more over there, but you're not like, whoop, going back towards your heels. Yep. 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 New milestone, 61 miles an hour, 400 feet. Welcome to the 400s. Okay, I'm going to give you little things to work on here. Because what I think you really need at this point in time is to keep drilling. So I've kind of got this analogy where it's like we're drilling for oil, right? You struck oil. You have you've got a new PR, right? Keep going down that same train of thought until you know, okay, I'm not getting anything like additional here, which takes a little bit of time. So one of the worst things you could do in this stage, I think, is immediately go to another fix, right? And find kind of next thing instead of giving your body like time to kind of veg out. And in the form journey where we're grinding a bunch of stuff, it's nice to have little places of respite where you get to just work on things like throwing far on the course and hitting gaps. But I will give you a couple timing things here to clean up and to look at. I don't want to give you any big pieces right now. I think your left hand could get in even tighter here. You can eliminate this shirt gap here that we see, and you can get that elbow all the way into the body. I think it's probably good to look a little bit on, spend a little bit of time figuring out why you've got a such high wobble here. It's probably a decent time to experiment. The first thing to me is your thumb is like so close to the edge. For some reason my eye went, okay, this is like he's just got not enough leverage on this disc to keep it from moving at the end. I could be wrong. It's a good time to experiment with thumb placement and grip as you're throwing farther. And then of course, and always, you see how you're pulling through right here? Like you've already started your motion, but your heel is still up. Right, so you can delay that pull through a little bit more. So I'll show you a couple things here. Mess with grip, see what's up with that. You might like a deeper thumb, you might not. You might switch and it might be the worst thing you've ever done in disc golf in your entire life. And this is the way for you. And you just need to like pull it in your palm more with your fingers. I don't know. But mess around with it. Left arm, get that elbow all the way in tight. Not here, but elbow tight. Doesn't necessarily matter where the hand's at if the elbow is flapping in the wind here. So get it a little bit tighter to the body there. And then we want to make sure plant and then throw. Plant and then throw. And enjoy your new life. When do you like elbow tight? Both arms come in tight together, right? So both arms are moving in, boop, and so here, when you're inside your pocket, roughly, your elbow should be tight. I mean, at this point, right here, basically, your elbow should be tight. Yeah. During the brace, well, so the timing goes brace first and then throw. So, so plant, and then the hands come in together. Tight. So they're both getting in tight to the body at the same time, basically. Yep. Enjoy. May you hit 400 all the more often. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if 61's kind of your max, then I think a good goal would be to hit 375 consistently. Oh, you're gonna have a good time trying out the cookie. It really is such a great disc. Yeah, I don't know that the cookie will ever leave my bag. Okay, Mikey, next we're going to do Nimina.
Nimina.
Niminama, 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 niminama. Niminama, 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 niminama. It works because he has his sun in the background here. Oh. It's a circle of fifths. Okay. So let's look at this final step here. So right now you're about here. And once you flare this out, it's going to want to bounce back in, right? I don't think I know anybody who goes boom, where this flare doesn't want to like kind of counterbounce back in. So that has to be, when you have something like that, it's got to be timed up really well, because once it's going, it's gone. So the timing for this last step. In this frame, you see that you're here, right? And you start pulling in from here as you plant. You need just a little bit more coil here. So instead of me seeing kind of like right down the line of your shoulders, I'd like to see all the way back to your right shoulder blade, right? So use this extra time that you have waiting for this foot to hit to get a little bit more coil, right? That'll help you not bounce back in early. Yeah, so your foot's going forward here. Sorry, your foot's planting and you're going forward here. Let me use words correctly. Yeah, so sequence here is we're going to stride. Right, you can segment it like this. Extending backwards a little bit as you're extending forwards with the leg. Extend, 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 planted. Good. Now from here, both arms go in together, in together, in together, in together. And this arm goes all the way in, tight to the body. So we've got extending both ways, and then tight together. Both arms tight together. Okay. Again, extending together. Both arms are going to come in. Good to go. Extending both ways. both arms coming in. Good to go. I think somebody might be... I lied. The truth is not in me. Wanted to make sure our UPS guy wasn't just gonna pop in here and be on TV for everyone to see if he didn't want to. Never know when you have the avatar wanting to hide from people. Just taking a normal day job like UPS. Cam Hoff here. But are you there? There you are. Cam. Doc Cam. Dr. Cameron. Dr. Cam Hoff. Yeah, you got to change your name now. Successfully defended dissertation, needs a couple amendments. Yeah. I just think you're not stretched right here. Your hand's not like laid back enough. Because you got this little like forward move before you do it. And look at all this room you have here. And it's off plane. Okay. This is a lot of zooming in on your face. So you're here. Whoops. So you're here, which for most people, might be stretched enough. But I think you've got more mobility back there than that. So if you're throwing a forehand on an Anheuser, I'd expect you to be more like here instead of like here. Right? So when you start moving forward, we've got to have most of the slack already pulled out of the arm. Right? Most of it. It'd be like if you were trying to throw a ball and you were here. It's like the body's only going to move this sucker back so far, right? So you kind of need it all the way back here so that when you start going forward, the arm gets tight immediately. Right, but yours is here, so it's like it never gets pulled, and so now you've got too much ability to like force it in weird places. So I'd like it to be back. Think Owen Scoggins, right? Where they've got this kind of aggressive laying back of it. And it's the hand's way back, kind of behind the elbow to start. So yours is like basically in line. So you've got to get it back. And then from there, it stretches even more. And then as your body moves forward, your disc has really no choice but to go along the correct path. Right now, you've got so much slack that you can manipulate this sucker. You got too many options moving forward. Instead of like if this is the arm, right, we want it to be basically taut going back. And then when we move the front part, this only has one option, and it's forward, right? But right now your arm's like this, right? So if we move forward, it's not being pulled in the line, right? So we need to take enough slack out of this line in the beginning so that when we move the front part of the chain, it stretches enough to where everything else wants to, every piece of the chain, right? Like this. This piece right here is only going to go forward, and this piece is only going to go forward. This piece is only going to go forward, right? So with your body, with your arm, you've got to pull all the slack out, right, which is laying your arm back. There's no slack here you could feel. If you just kept it right here and then move forward, now you can move your hand whatever direction. Instead, lay the hand back so that when the body moves forward, the only choice is here. Right. I'd spend some time picking up the old baseball and just feeling, if you were throwing in this arm slot, like if you started here with your arm and you were in this arm slot, what would your arm do? One, you'd feel, okay, I want it back. I want it stretching. I want to feel my shoulder and my arm stretch, and then I want to feel my, the disc heavy on my fingers, and then I pop at the end. Also, if you were in this position in baseball, where would you throw this ball? You would not throw this ball across. So you've changed from this arm slot here to mid-swing. You start here, you're here, and then you go up at the end, right? Part of that's because you're not tight and you don't have the, you've got a choice to change arm slots. The other part is you're just not consistent with your swing plane, right? So if you're here with the ball, everything's going to be pulling this way. How do I do this with protecting the elbow? Sometimes around a forehands will feel kind of rough. I think that's what the arm is doing. Right, it's actually tougher if you don't pull the slack out of the line, because then to get any distance, and you're going to try to get distance, right, because you're competitive. If the slack isn't pulled out, you're just going to push your elbow and you're going to drive your elbow forward forcefully, right? Instead of letting it be drug and then pop, right? And the thing that you don't want to do is start pushing with the elbow. That's not healthy, right? You want it to be drug, and in terms of health, it's like you want fluidity to be a big part of it, right? If I take something heavy, if I take this, so here's the pushing. If I'm here and I go push, right? Obviously that's not healthy, right? And I'm going to feel it in my arm. The other thing is if I'm swinging this way, and then at the end, I go and change the direction down, or abruptly change where the swing wants to go, of course my arm is going to get hurt because I'm using a racket, right? Same thing with the disc. You're moving it quick enough and it's heavy enough that when you start jolting from different arm slots into separate ones, the arm has no way to like fluidly disperse that energy, right? I'm talking to Cam in this way because he's biomechanically knowledgeable, and he's a baseball player and stuff. So that's why I picked up the old racket. It's like, of course, if I go like this, it's gonna hurt. So needs to be as simple as this. So pick up the baseball. Yeah, tennis forehand-esque. It all flows, and the looser the better. The more loose, the better. Looser, it's probably not grammatically correct. The looser, the better. Just feels wrong, right? The more loose, the better. Yeah, throw this arm slot, because your arm's trying to get in this slot here, right? And just pay attention to how your arm naturally is going to go basically high to low, right? If you're starting up here, you would never throw a ball and get here and decide, oh, now I'm submarine, right? Or now I'm sidearm thrower. It's like if you're coming over the top in this arm slot, you're going to finish down here. If you start in the lower arm slot, you start submarine, you're not going to go boom, all of a sudden, I'm a 3/4 arm slot guy. It's like, and if you start sidearm, you're not going to finish super down or super up, right? Like a submarine guy might do. You're going to finish mostly level, right? So the direction that you follow through, and you've got all that background, so you might as well just throw the, baseball, and know, well, this is an Anheuser arm slot, this is a flat arm slot, and a submarine is basically a Heiser arm slot. So, but carry the experience you already have from baseball into disc golf. Work with what you've already built. And the things that you're looking for specifically are the fluidity of the arm, this kind of stretchiness, and swing plane / arm slot. And the seams of the disc golf disc are here. It's the inside of the rim. So, okay, next, Veb. I've never done Veb before. Why, he looks so happy. He might not be, but he looks happy. Looks can be deceiving. I mean, he's got to be good. He's got the Vans. Yeah, nice job on the plant to swing timing. Saying his first rodeo. NDS cam, the hips looked fine. Yeah, I would work on a bit more coil. You've got a lot of really good pieces here, but you're losing a bit of space in the pocket, and I think you actually could create the space here with a bit more shoulder turn. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Hey, Vip, you made it. Here you are. So we got a nice picture of Simon's like back. We can see his logo. We can see, well, the Thought Space logo. We can see most of the Thought Space logo, right? The only, we don't know if there's a logo on your back or not. So you could get a bit more coil here, get both these shoulders turned a bit more. Right. Right, that'll give you a bit more space back there to move into. You get into this kind of like sub 90 angle. So I think if you, but I think probably if you maintain similar similar timing, but got a little bit more coiled instead of being like here, for example, where you have a little bit of room, you could open up this space by pushing this right shoulder back, and now you've got a bit more room here, which gives your right hand a bit more time to get into the pocket without getting trapped, versus here, when the shoulders start going, the tendency is to be just a little pinched. So try to get that extra little push, that extra little turn with the shoulders there. You need, I don't know, maybe 15 degrees or something like that. So just get wound up a little bit tighter and kind of monitor this space back there. If moving forward, even with that space, you find that you still end up getting about here, like a little bit pinched, even with the space, then you might want to encourage the arm to move a bit faster so that you're getting at least kind of that 90, if not more. Yeah, but you've obviously done some work. Just get a bit more coil, my friend. Yes, sir. J-Buzz, J-Buzz. Mm-hmm. So you're running out of space against your body for the disc to kind of pass through. So you get kind of tight here, right? The elbow's dropping down close to the body. I think it kind of has its origin a little bit further back. You see on this first step where you go heel here, it's starting to pull your body weight away from us, right, towards your car. Here we've got a little stand-up move. And now when you coil, the disc ends up being, you coil well, but the disc ends up being behind you because your posture hasn't maintained / created the space for the disc to pass through. So this first right step, I'll do it this way. This first right step that you have, going towards your heel, it's kind of setting you back this way. In this scenario, the Tesla would be behind me. Right, so back this way. which then sets you up to stay kind of tall and stand up here and get your weight here. Obviously, this creates kind of this, I guess from your angle, it would be like a C shape almost if I really exaggerated it, right? And we want to invert that. We want our posture to be here so that now we've got room for the disc in front of us here. Because anywhere here we start moving it in, now our elbow wants to pinch up against our body. So we really want this kind of, probably the easiest person to think about with this is like Niklas. This kind of like, okay, I am getting ready to, squat type of deal. But that leaves the space in front of us here with the disc, and it keeps us from falling back off of our line. It's here, so more towards the toes, the butt's out a bit. We've got a little bit of bend in the hips here, right? Very kind of powerful, ready to lift things. So that when we go with this right step, now instead of it putting us there, we can stay inside of this kind of down position. Keeps us from falling off of our line here. And then when you coil, because you have this body position, you've got all this space for the elbow to move through. So a little posture work here. Here's my right, my left, and now that same coil that you've got leaves the disc over here instead of being upright. Same amount of coil leaves the disc here, which the elbow when it goes forward would path inside and down. Most people don't go up from that position. So I'd spend time working on your posture. I'll show you the wrong way here and how it causes that just for comparison. So we go right on the heel here. Cross step, which pulled me back this way. Proper amount of coil pulls the elbow inside. And now I move forward. Elbows tight to the body. This is going to have to squeak around versus here. Correct posture. I take this right step. Lots of room. Don't stand up here. Same shoulder turn. Now the disc is over here instead of here. With the same move basically. And now I can go through. Lots of room. Does that make sense? How did you know Jay Buzz was here?
I'm chatting with them in
Oh, in Discord. Okay.
He said great advice. Great advice. Thanks. Kiitos.
Welcome. All right. Chapere. One of these guys' name is Grumpy Chef. I like it. Chapere. Similar to what I was telling Cam earlier. So you've laid it back here, but watch this. You've got a little forward pump here. Here, and you see how you stopped it from stretching back right here? You kind of tightened this up. This part of your arm here. Just tighten that up. You're doing a good job of staying over it, like this little pocket you got here. That's good, wouldn't change that. Okay, so I think you're getting locked out in the lower body just because this foot's coming so far back. So it's kind of locking out the hips a bit. And the arm's not really laid back when it needs to be. So first thing is you get into this position here. Right, this is really tough for the hips to be mobile. Right, you want a position where we've got our feet, our back foot kind of perpendicular. Of course, if you walk around like this, and this is how your legs are set in your body, it's a bit different. But we want to get to a position where the front foot is flared forward, and here this gives us a lot of mobility with the hips, but also makes it so that we're not, this back foot makes it so that we're not turned too far back to where we're locked out and can't get forward, but also to where we are set up sideways with the hips. Now, in terms of getting the hand laid back, there are two ways that people basically do this on the Pro Tour. Some guys will take their lead arm, their lead hand, roll their wrist back, and then set it up like this, and then move into a stretch. Some guys like Adam Hamez, right, do some sort of almost flick-like motion to set it back. I do much the same, where it's much easier for me to kind of use momentum or a little swing to get it back, where it's here. But when you get it back, you need to leave it back, and it needs to be laid back all the way. So right now you get about here, and then your arm tenses up and doesn't want it to go any further back. So you need to loosen the arm a bunch and let it swing back as far as you can let it swing back without hurting yourself, obviously. All right, so that's all being loose. It's kind of the same feeling of dragging your hand along the wall, right? Or dragging your hand through water. It's like it would lay all the way back eventually, and it would, and then you could pop at the end. So adjust the feet, making sure you're not locked out here, and not, you know, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. It's here. We're solid on this back leg. Right, not stuck between both of them here. So we're solid off the back leg, and we kind of push into the front leg. And then the hand, the arm needs to be loose so you can lay it all the way back. Whether you do that here and you kind of help with this lead hand, or you kind of swing it back and then it's laid back, but it needs to be loose and back. Snorage. Here I am. Michigan. Didn't we have another Michigan kid here? We had someone else wearing Michigan clothes that I reviewed not too long ago. I think he was a younger guy too. Michigan. Okay. So you're running out of space here because this right step is too far backwards here. So you turn basically a step too early. So now when you go to coil, rightfully so, your disc is on the other side of your body. And so you're going to get tight right here, very crammed. So you don't have a lot of room to swing it. So let's look at these two steps, this left step into this right step. Okay, I am a lefty. I'm a lefty and I'm going. Hello? Was that me? Oh. It was this thing, it blew off. Okay, I'm a lefty. I'm a lefty who turns too far back here. Okay. So I don't think you necessarily need to fix the fact that this foot is a little bit, that your left foot's a little bit diagonally turned back, although I think it could be helpful and might be a fairly simple solution to helping the next step. But this step here, your left step before your cross step, doesn't need to be turned back really at all. Some people even have it a bit forward. So there, and then here, instead of turning the hips all the way back, we're going to delay this turn a step. So you're going to have your left hip forward. So if we go left hip forward, it can turn a little bit. So like diagonally forward a little bit, just not turned. So it goes forward with the left hip, forward with the left hip, and then turn the left hip away. So we want forward, mostly forward, big turn. And that's going to keep your disc out over here on this side of the line. So if we go again, forward, so no turn, no turn, now turn. That's kind of what we're looking for. So the feet would be mostly side on. Mostly side on. It can be a little bit back, not all the way pointing back. And then turn the body back, the shoulders, and that left hip turn back. And now you've got room to move. Disc over here without it coming from here and running into the body. Time to grind that footwork, brother. Quoll.
What are we expecting today?
Nothing?
Me! You're expecting me.
I thought you were checking for UPS.
He really wants to know. He wasn't going to actually drop anything off. He just wanted to come hang out.
I wanna know, can you show me? Okay. This position's basically a non-starter. Right, so you got here, don't need to change anything with this, but right here you got to get your right butt cheek towards the target instead of swinging your like knee open and forward. Right. Instead of there, we want here. I played a course like this before. I think I already told Cole about this before. This is some... Where did I play a course like this? Wait a second. You know what course this reminds me of? Pratt Park. That's why I'm feeling sand. This Pratt Park. which is actually my home course. But they got a lot of this like sand stuff when you turn into the back 9, basically, hole 11. I should go back and play there. Yes, there are other things to be desired. But let's start with that. Let's start with this position. So from here, so you're going right, left, and so we're going to start here on this left. So I would just hang out on the left, balance here, and then learn this move. We're going to take our butt and we're going to turn it towards the target, which is behind us. Here, turn. Here, turn. Same thing with our chest. We're going to turn it away from the target, or we can think about our back, turning our back towards the target. So here, hanging on the left, turn. And we're just waiting for this foot to hit. We're not going to do anything else except we're going to fall towards the target and we're going to turn away from it. So 2 things happen here. It is turning and it is stepping or falling towards it. So here, knee, back. Foot catches my body. Here, back. Here, back. Works out with the extension. Feels like we are driving the wrong way. And then, kablam. Here, back. Here, back. Here, back. Everyone works on it at some point. It's your time. Grumpy, Chef. Chef grumps a lot. You got it, Mikey? Well,
Should I check? I will be checking.
so similar thing here, except you're coiling your shoulders back, but your hips are uncoiling. So your hips are going from back here, pointed this way, to twisting open. So you're twisting your hips forward while your shoulders are going backwards, and it's limiting your shoulder coil. We need both of them to twist backwards.
Yeah, he's good.
So we're here, your foot turns a bit back. It's not out of the range of acceptability, so I'm not too worried about it. But your hips here cannot open into this final step, right? Because right now your shoulders have not coiled and you're trying to twist these back and trying to twist this open, right? Which, as you saw, if I twist my shoulders as far back as I can twist them and I open up this front side, it's going to twist me open like this. It's going to leave it so that, well, I can't coil all the way, right? So we want these to turn back together. So hips and shoulders back together. Back together. Now the shoulders have a little bit more mobility than the hips, so they're going to turn further past, but they start moving together. It's just the shoulders get to go a little bit further. So my shoulders can turn all the way off from the target, and my hips only get about halfway. But it's here. So your issue is making sure that you've got to reverse this move. Instead of opening up the hips on the last step, you need to turn them back on the last step. And that's going to help your upper body mechanics as well. All right. I don't know how many are here. Probably not many. I imagine there's some Pro Tour something or another going on right now.
I'm watching it.
So go enjoy some Pro Tour coverage. And bye, Clash. Bye.